Hey guys, this video is going to be on building pattern variations that come after ramp tunnels. And since, ramp tunnels are involved, I will quickly go over what a ramp tunnel is for those of you that are new and are not familiar with ramp tunnels. For those of you that are familiar with ramp tunnels, I will throw in 3 quick advanced tips that you may or may not know about or may want a refresher on. And then after those 3 advanced tips, you can skip on to when I go through these variations that come after the ramp tunnels if you guys want to see that. Okay, so um, first off, just really quick, what a ramp tunnel is. It's when you have ramps above yourself and below yourself. The ramps above yourself provide cover from behind, and you can continue this pattern. Typically, you see people only do 2 ramps or 3 ramps below. Otherwise, you can get shot out. Um, if they shoot through the top ramp, then they could shoot through the bottom ramp and knock you down. So you want to only do the tunnel for a short distance and then turn around and connect back to something strong. So if somebody is um, on top of your ramp tunnel, for an advanced tip, if they're running on top of it, a lot of times they'll run on top of it and then they'll try to place a floor above your head and edit through it and kill you. If you know they're running on top of it, you can place a pyramid through the top here, and that will block them off and stop them, and buy you enough time. So typically, what happens is they'll be running up here and like place a floor and then like edit through and shotgun you in the head or something like that. The other advanced tip is basically just this, using the floor. You can ramp tunnel with a floor. Like this. It's probably happened to you before where you're actually trying to jump and place a floor and a ramp, but you end up under your ramp, and then you just end up ramp tunneling, but not because you wanted to tunnel. But this is a quick way to make a tunnel happen without using a wall to attach it to. You don't need to do the floor, but sometimes the terrain is inconsistent, and the floor will make it consistent for the ramps to attach to the right place. And also, if you got ramped over your head, you can. I ended up on top, but you basically get to right about here, the middle of the floor, and that's when you look straight down and you place that ramp, I mean, and then you can ramp tunnel like this. But if you are already having your floor out and placing a floor underneath the ramp here, you could just as easily place a floor above, and then you'll actually be higher elevation with this ramp tunnel. So I typically do this, but sometimes, shit happens, and you end up needing to. It's good to have, multiple ways of making a ramp tunnel. All right, that was a second advanced technique. Third advanced technique, this is not necessarily directly about ramp tunnels, but this involves when you're in a 1x1 and you often have a roof above, a pyramid above the 1x1, and you also have a ceiling. This is a floor on the top. This ceiling here, you edit it in half, and then you edit the pyramid out, and you ramp tunnel out the top. The advanced tip is that you can see when this floor and this ceiling is edited in half from outside. So if I was running around and I saw a box like this, I would think to myself, somebody is inside this box, and they have this ceiling edited out, and they're edit peeking through the top of this pyramid, and probably have these 2 tiles here edited and ready to turn it into a ramp and come out and shoot me at any moment. So I would, if I had I would start shooting the box, or I would try to bait the guy, or throw some splodes or something if I confirmed he was in there. So the good tip is basically, if you're in this situation and you see people, don't stay here too long, because if it's a good player, they'll know that you're in here. Or if you're sitting in here and you're wanting to peek for a longer period of time, break out that floor, that ceiling, so that people don't know you're in here. All right, so some common cases where you use a ramp tunnel. This was one of them. You edit out like this, and you edit out, and this top one provides the first ramp on the top of your tunnel, and then you can continue it. And like I said, it usually will only go 2 on the bottom, and then I'll turn around. And another situation is when you're on top of here and you only have, I'll do this one first. When you don't have the pyramid, you just edit out like this. You have to look up further to place this top ramp since the top ramp's not already placed. And then the other situation is, this is also a quick tip. It's really hard to edit. This is not related, but I mean, kind of, but it's really hard to edit this wall from the inside. Like, it's almost impossible to edit it from the inside. So instead of doing this edit, it's always good to get in the habit of doing this edit like this, because you'll always be able to attach it even from here as well. There's always a little thing. You can do this one as well, but this one is a little bit easier, I find. Not that one, the 4-panel one. Anyways, if you're coming from inside here, under your ramp, this is also a place where you ramp tunnel out often, and you're always wanting to ramp tunnel out in the direction so that the person is directly behind you, because if they're on the side, then the ramp tunnel is not going to provide cover. And then here is something to take note of. If the ramp tunnel is off of a floor or a ceiling, if a floor is above your head, I'm calling it a ceiling. So right here, it's off of a floor, this top one, and down here, it's off of a wall like this. The upper ramp starts further back, so with the same number of ramps here, you can see it's open up here, but here it's closed. So when it starts off of a wall, they start at the same location, so they go the same distance. So you need one extra below in order for you to not be blocked off when you're ready to turn around and go back. Here, you need the same number above and below. So you do one extra on top if you want cover, but then you need to do the same number below to not be blocked off. So just keep that in mind. Sometimes that trips people up when they're first starting with ramp tunnels. They remember, you know, do one more below, and then sometimes they don't notice they're ramp tunneling off of a floor piece and don't notice it. Okay, getting into these variations that come after the ramp tunnel. The most common one is probably this one. And you saw right there, the upper, I didn't mean to place this, it's fine though, doesn't create a problem. This upper ramp got placed first, so that is something you want to be careful of. Just basically practice and check your camera angle and your jump timing and your click and your build timing. If you look down a little bit and then up, it makes it easier to make sure you build this one first. Sometimes you accidentally build the top one and then you end up not building the lower one, or you end up below the lower one. You can also build a floor underneath, and looking down like that makes it much easier to build this lower one. This ramp tunnel is very good for speed and consistency, like ease of execution. It's easy to execute. The downside is you walk pretty high up the ramp and are exposed from behind, so if the other person's got high ground back here, they oftentimes shoot you in the back as you're bringing these walls around. So if you think you're gonna get shot in the back, I would not use this technique. And you can place the wall from further down, but then it's a really awkward position. You do this, and now what? You're gonna S key? No, that's too slow. You're gonna turn back and then turn back. That's, you know, really out of the way. So the solution, if someone was shooting your ramp tunnel down though, they're likely shooting your building and not shooting you. I might use this one because it's fast and I want to get back to the main build, which is in this direction, before it gets knocked down. So I would probably do this method for the speed. But if you know the person is high ground already, they don't need to continue building to keep the high ground, and there's a good chance that they're going to shoot you if you do this method, then the method you want to do is right when you cross this line here from one ramp to the other, you want your walls already out, and you're going to jump and do a 180 and build 2 walls like this, and then you S key and jump again and get on a ramp. And you always want to build this second ramp here just in case, because by the time, if you don't build it and you're walking up this ramp to peek over the top, you might get a ramp over your head if you didn't build that ramp. So this one, this technique, it builds these walls as soon as possible. As soon as you cross the line, you get the cover from being shot in the back. So that's where this one is good. It's a little bit slower, I feel like, than this one because you have to jump twice. So the first jump, you're jumping and doing a 180, and that's to preserve your forward momentum so that you land up on this ramp a little bit, and then you're closer to where you need to be able to back up and jump onto the ramp without getting stuck under it. So since you have to jump twice, that delays you a little bit compared to this one. You only have to jump once, but this one provides you more cover from being shot behind. Now there's a variation off of this 2-story wall version that has extra cover on the sides. So it goes like this, you jump across, and then you build like this, like this, like this, and then floor, ramp, ramp, like this. So it's just extra fortified from the sides. A lot of the times it's not necessary for this extra material though, because it doesn't really stop it doesn't really protect the ramp out here from being knocked down that much more. The person shoots through this wall, and then they break down this ramp, and the whole thing collapses already. So right here, the same thing happens. They shoot through this one, they shoot through this wall, and then they break down they shoot through this ramp, and it all breaks down. So it doesn't provide you any really extra protection in that way, but it does if you're getting shot from the side, if there's like a third-party situation. Now there's another variation off of this 2-story wall that gets you extra elevation that I don't really see used often, and there are some reasons why you wouldn't use it, but I can see it being useful, and I'm gonna be trying to test it out in real situations. So you jump across and you do this, but this time you stay looking this direction, and then you do a 90-degree ramp to finish the 180. So now you're an extra story higher. So it takes a little bit longer. So if your ramp tunnel is being shot down, you want to use one of the faster methods. But if your ramp tunnel is not being shot down, oftentimes the enemy, if they're good, they expect how much height you're going to gain off of a typical turnaround on a ramp tunnel. And so they build accordingly. They don't want to overbuild and get much higher than they need to, so they may just build so that they're one level above where you're going to be already, so that you're just getting a ramp or a floor over your head as soon as you turn around. But if you come out with this and you practice it and do it quickly, you may catch them off guard and be able to get a ramp over their head. There is one other technique that I know about, and it's rarely used, but it has its place. So you just come, and right when you cross here, you have your ramp out. You just do a 180 and you place this ramp, and then you jump onto it. It does not get you as much height as this one. You see this one is it's further back, but it is higher, and by the time you place this second ramp, it's higher. But this one is also good for if somebody is running on the top of your ramp tunnel. You can turn around and throw that ramp over their head, then jump up on it and do another ramp. You can also do this same technique by editing this ramp and rotating it like this, and then placing another ramp here. But it's much harder to do this edit, and you're more likely to mess it up, and it seems like it's barely faster than, well, it's slower first off. It's slower for getting this ramp here because you have to switch from edit mode to building this ramp. but it's a little bit faster for getting on top of this ramp because you don't have to jump, I guess. But it's more likely the enemy will phase through this ramp here and by doing the edit method because you're building it later. So I don't really see a reason to do that one. I would just do this one if I was going to do this method here. I think that about sums it up. Well, one other thing, just going back to some basic ramp tunnel stuff. On the side of a existing structure or a mountain, you can build the upper ramps without needing a floor or a wall to attach it to. There's also a double wide ramp tunnel, which if you stay in the middle, when one side gets shot down, you can move over to the other side. This isn't used very often, but sometimes you do see it combined with if you were in like a 1x1, you can build out the side like this. This wall is, I don't really know how to build this wall. Actually, I rarely use this. I didn't get that wall built. But anyways, if you build like this, then when you edit out here, you can place both two ramps and then do the double ramp tunnel out of the double 1x1. All right, that about wraps it up. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments or stop by the stream if you want to ask me in real time. If you have any topics that you feel like are not touched on often in instructional videos, let me know and I'll see if it's something I have useful information on. Thanks for watching and have a good rest of your day.